Due to our modern propaganda, we have been trained to not understand the natural relationship between men and women and the natural state of the successful family. But we can see this in the way that men and women communicate. When men talk to each other, they tend to talk about what they feel is real, how things work, why things work. When women talk to each other, they often focus on what makes people get along with each other. So the men, you might say, are focused on truth, and the women are focused on social harmony. When you put a man and woman together, those two different social missions make a great combination that addresses both the physical and the psychological needs of the family. The man might be concerned with getting the house built to make the family safe, while the woman might be concerned with how to use the house to make the family comfortable and happy. So when the men and women are allowed to find their comfort zones, they become extremely complementary in their skills and attributes. Men and women are not competitors. They are naturally designed for cooperation in the protection of the children and the organizational success of the family. Whenever you hear that women and men are competitive or against each other, this is a narrative designed to destroy families and promote institutional agendas. Men and women are generally attracted to each other. They're composed to provide for each other's needs, physical, psychological, and spiritual. The male-female bond is a powerful social mechanism without which family and community are extremely disadvantaged. When a man and a woman find their natural roles, the children do better. So today, our children are addicted to video games, addicted to prescription drugs, riddled with allergies, thinking they have to save the world from global warming, and thinking they have to select their sexual identity from a long list of gender categories that no child can understand. I'm sorry, but these are not problems that children should have to be dealing with. When society became confused about adult identity issues somewhere in the 1970s, we very predictably failed our children. Our relativist social engineering experiments have been a disaster for young people's development and mental health. And now we have 3 or 4 generations of young people, many of whom have never seen a parent who devoted herself primarily to her children. As these children grow up, society turns into something different, where isolation from parental love and guidance is normal. Human beings naturally need to get joy and satisfaction from social interaction, relationships, shared experiences. That is the way we work. Most of us are not fulfilled by competitive victories and service to corporations and tax collectors. We are fulfilled by our most intimate relationships with the people we love and trust. This does not mean that anyone's identity has to be suppressed or disrespected. Feminism and gender identity can develop in whatever way they wish. We do not make families stronger by opposing each other's lifestyles. We make families stronger by making families stronger, one family at a time. The natural chemistry between men and women create the opportunity to build strong families. But if the chemistry is different, then strong families can be built in different ways. The question is not whether your family looks or acts like my family. The question is your family working to make the members safe and happy? A family is not necessarily a man and a woman and some children. A family is a small group of people who don't charge each other for cleaning the house and keeping the yard. The family member is the person who will come and sit by your hospital bed, who will pick you up when your car breaks down, who will share things with you because you share things with them. The family is a sacred bond that might happen naturally or by agreement. But while we haggle over identity politics, we are missing the point and failing in our moral and social potential. While we are made to oppose each other, people and groups, we are missing the entire point. The only thing that matters is who you love, who you trust, who you can count on, and who can count on you. The people who perform service and support for each other without turning around and writing out an invoice, and without creating a taxable and trackable event on the public record. That is family. Worrying about other people not being like us or not agreeing with us is a total waste of time, and mature people don't do that. We look for what is positive, productive, and worthwhile. We try to make the best of what we find. When we fight that, we have very difficult and frustrating lives. Big institutions do not want you to have a family. They want you to need the institution. The reason government does not want you to have a family is that, first and foremost, when families were strong, government did not collect taxes from the work that women did. When you get stranded somewhere, your family member comes and picks you up, you don't have to call Uber and create another taxable, trackable transaction. When you are in trouble, either your family member can help you, or we can pay trillions of dollars for massive public institutions and hope they are prepared and responsive enough to come to our service when we find ourselves in trouble, so our parents can concentrate on breaking a glass ceiling or tampering with their own genders. So far, to my witness, government has been quite a disappointment in the role of parent, caregiver, and trusted companion. But government never fails to imagine that it can solve any social problem, no matter how personal, complex, or unique. Government does everything it can to weaken families in order to give government a place and make itself more relevant, more necessary, and richer. Government is a business, and they tell us its job is to look after everybody. But that business is not needed when we can look after ourselves, when we have family, when we have community. We don't need them to make a lot of rules, because in our families we act in honor to each other. We resolve our own disputes. When families are functional, we can have less taxes, less behavioral policing, less red tape, less institutional overhead, less standing in line, less surveillance and tracking, less bureaucratic surrogate parents telling us what to do and letting us talk to robots when we call them. So government will always try and divide us and make us fight, make each of us think we are the opponent of each other, and that only government can run things properly and keep order. They will make us think we can't get along, that men and women should be enemies, that the state should always be ready to come in and take the children, or whatever else it takes to break up the family and put government in charge and in control. The state is paranoid. The state sees a strong family unit as a threat to the state. A strong family unit is not a threat to any proper state function, but a strong family unit is a threat to state power and force and size. We listen to the state's narratives through our media. We are listening to arguments why we should not create family. We are hearing our schools, our media, our politicians reminding us of our differences, dividing us in any way they can find, getting many of us to hate each other, to oppose each other, to fear each other, and to love and trust only the state. We are told that even with the people to whom we are closest, we must be afraid of each other's germs. We must socially distance from each other. We must not allow ourselves to see each other smile. So if we simply decide that family is what is going to matter, more than anything, family now and forever, does that make us anti-government? Maybe it does. Maybe being anti-government is the only way we can bring balance, sanity, and peace back to society. Are we anti-government if we refuse to be an opponent or an enemy of our neighbor? Or if we refuse to turn to some giant institution for our security, support, love, and happiness? Your government benefit is not love and happiness. It is a bribe. Your social network is not love and happiness. It is psychological pandering. Love and happiness usually happens with the people right next to you. When we put away identity politics, when we stop living in fear of our differences, when we stop being enemies and build on our natural qualities, we can build strong families and communities. We can regain control of our lives, and we can reduce government to some manageable and sustainable size. As we build the strength of our families, we escape the greed, corruption, and lies of institutions, collectives, and centers of power. And that would be a good thing.